Hi, Mark Wright from Sensei here. My friend Henry Calcagno was doing a class in his salon the other day on how to use curved shears, and he graciously let me come by with a camera and film it. I thought you might find it interesting.
Okay, I want a really clean surface to work on. And all I'm going to do is curve this with the curve shear. I'm going to come in here and just follow this and curve it around and strengthen her haircut. Look at that. You see that? That little cut. Look at the difference between this side and this side. And did she lose a lot of hair? No. Is she going to love her hair at the end? Yes. Because her hair is going to be strong all the way to the ends.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We're not cutting off the hair. We are sculptors. We're sculpturers. So I'm going to come over here on this side, and I'm going to flip this over to the other side, so that there's a double tang on the shear, and it comes over this side. And I'm going to turn this, and now watch this. I'm going to come and guess what? I'm going to go to the middle, and I'm going to strengthen her haircut with very little cut off. And look at that.
Beautiful.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Very little. I took care of all the wispy stuff that was breaking off anyway, but she has plenty of length left. And have a seat. All right. Most people are taught to layer like this, and I want you to watch this. This is so familiar. You hold the hair out. This is the way I was taught when I went to beauty school. And you hold the hair out if you want to layer it, and you cut it off like that. You just cut it off like that. All right? So, what happens to this hair? Where does this hair end up?
The floor.
On the floor. What's left?
Not much.
Not much hair. Right? So, I don't do that. I create a curve in the hair, and I keep it on the outside. On thick hair, I can go below the occipital by an inch, but on finer hair like Cheryl has, I'm going to be at the occipital or above. Everything below, ignore. Leave her alone down here. She needs it. All right? So what I'm going to do, instead of that, I'm going to hold this hair up. I'm going to turn you this way so you can see. We're good?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hold the hair up like this, and this hair here, this length here, I'm not going to touch. Okay? All I'm going to do is cut from this hair, and I'm going to leave this drop, and I'm going to create a curve with the curve shear going this way. I'm creating a curve. Watch this. I'm creating a curve. The hair is pulled up and a curve. See the curve? I'm creating a curve. So when this hair falls down, what does it do? It curves. It blends down. And you won't see a line. How many people have you seen with a haircut and their layers look like, here's a chop, there's a chop, here's a chop? You've seen that, right? I know you guys don't do that, but this will keep you from getting caught up in the chop look. I'm going to do it again here. And I'm lifting it where it lives. Why? Because I want to maximize the volume of the hair.
And when you cut these layers, do you still use a guide from like the previous section?
No. That's a good question. The question was, when I'm doing this, do I use a guide from the previous section? No, I do not, because this hair lives differently over here than this hair over there. I'm interested in what happens right here to what happens after that. This right here. This is what I'm interested in. Does this have to blend? It does not have to blend. Do I do the front? No, I don't do the front. Will I blend it with my seamless layering that's on step 4 or 5? Yes, we will do more blending. But it's a different kind of blending that you can only do with a shear that's curved like this. So, section, hold it out. Curve. I'm curving it. Hold this up. Drop out I'm dropping out the fringe right here. I'm dropping out the fringe right here. So that this hair isn't affected by this layer. And I'm only interested right here. This is all I'm interested in. This is prepping for the more advanced layers we're going to do. And it's a curve, so it's a curve. So what you have here is you have layers that do not take away the volume within the interior of the hair. You have all these layers, it does not take away the volume. Her hair is still, we didn't do this. We didn't do gone, hair gone. Yay. So she has maximum volume. All right. The next stage is what?
Seamless.
Seamless layers. Here, stand up again. Seamless layers are amazing. I do this on all hair types. We're going to turn you this way like this. I'm going to start in the center back just for, I can start anywhere I want, but I'm going to start in the center and I'm going to move towards me and then I'm going to move away from me. Doesn't matter where you start, it just matters the technique. And what I'm doing is, we already have some layers in the hair, but we want to create more layers and more texture. And with the same shear, I'm going to take this. This time, the curve is not following the head shape like on those. This time, the shear is going away from the head shape. So make a note of that. The shear is the first time the shear is going to be opposite of the head shape. Usually I'm doing things following the head shape, following the neck shape. This one is going to be the opposite. Why? Because I want to stay on the surface. That's why it's called surface layering or seamless layering. And what we do with this that works better with a curve shear than any other kind of shear is I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to just gently lift out, just with these two fingers, I'm going to gently lift out the hair and I'm going to come in here and with that edge I'm going to just give the hair some extra layers. That's why we don't have to worry about blending. What this does is creates more movement in the hair, especially curly hair. And I'm also talking it down. I'm not slide cutting, I'm not using a razor. I'm just coming in here and it's a very artistic expression. What I'm saying is that it's not a precision move. It's just, I'm just taking my fingers and gently bringing in some of the layers. I'm not touching the bottom because I want to keep as much hair on the bottom as possible. But what this does is it creates movement and texture into the haircut, especially with wavy or curly hair. So I'm going around the whole head shape and just going lightly. And notice that I'm cutting very little hair. There's very little hair coming off. So what does that do? It creates more layers. So more layers, more texture, more movement without loss of volume. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So I'll show you on this side. I just come, I follow the head shape around. I'm not being lazy. I'm lifting my arm up and I'm doing this very, very gently. It's like a cutting stroke. Notice I'm just talking it down. I'm not closing the blade. And I'm walking around and cutting the hair where it lives. And I'm going to do a little less on this side. Why? Because there's less hair on this side. Does that make sense? A little less on this side. If she wanted a rocker shag, I could start up here at the top and start way up here and create a little rocker shag if she wanted that. A lot of people aren't, that's not in right now, so a lot of people have long layers, so I start after the curvature of the head. I start after the curvature and then I come down towards the ends and just give it a little like that. And it's a little wisping effect. So, what's next?
Fan layers.
Fan layers. Here, have a seat. So your client is going to get a little exercise. They're going to stand a little, then they're going to sit, then they're going to stand, they're going to sit, So it'll be it'll be a good exercise class for them. Fan layers are different than typical layers because all I'm doing is adding more texture, but I'm using the same shear, pointing this way. And what I want to do is I want to pick this up in a large section. I'm going to turn this way so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to pick the hair up and I'm going to hold it out here, not here. I'm going to hold it out here. where there's extra length. I stop my fingers right here. So like this, turn my fingers and fan them, and then I'm going to come in here and do pieces of curved layering. Go to my next section, not overlapping sections. Pretty large section. Hold it out and come in and take curved pieces out. It just creates more layering without loss of volume. Take a section that is different than the last one. All this is above the occipital and the parietal ridge so that you're not cutting into the... Just gives it more texture and movement. You'll see that when her hair is curly especially. And that's it. And then we got shark bites. Do we have shark bites yet? Those are fun. Oh, channel layering. Channel layering is for thick hair. We're going to do some channel layering on her. And I'll show you what it looks like here. Stand up. And then we'll do some shark bites. Channel layering is this. I come in with the curve shear, and it's facing this way. I come in about a 35-degree angle, 40-degree angle like this, and as I exit, I take the hair out. On her, she has fine hair. I'm not going to do it on her. I'm going to do it on our next model. But what that does is it creates interior layering without, like, thinning the hair. On her, I really don't want to do it. I just show you how it works. As I exit, I'll be closing down like this, closing down, closing down. You'll see that on our next model, but it's just part of the 7 steps. And then lastly, just for fun, you can do little personal touches. One of my favorites is, I don't know if you can see this, but take a look at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a technique called shark bites. And what it is, I take the curve shear, and I just go in at this angle. It's not following the hair, it's not like this. It's in between. So it's not this way, and it's not this way. It's in between. I come in here and I just take bites out. See how I'm taking bites out? And it just creates texture, especially on curls and movement. And see, I just kind of created more of that ruffled texture. I'll do this side here. These are called shark bites. And it's so funny, I'll have clients that go, I'll be doing the haircut and I'll be talking along and I'll forget to do my shark bites and the clients will remind me. They'll say, hey Henry, did you do those shark bites? Because they're watching in the mirror and they're used to seeing you do this. And they remind me that I didn't do my shark bites because they like their shark bites. And you can do this for a fringe. It's great. This is a great shear for creating a fringe that moves. I could maybe try it on you. That moves over. A lot of my fringes, not on her, but a lot of my fringes, the angled fringe. Well, I can only do this with a curve shear, but my angled fringe is I take the curve of the shear and I work it into the fringe. I work the curve into the fringe and get a fringe that wraps around the eye and goes nicely around the eye, which is hard to do. But with this, I can do that. So hopefully we'll get a chance to see that in action too. I just don't want to do that on my girl here. She wears your curls more than straight, yeah. All right, so that concludes what we do here with the curve shear. All right, so you can see after we've done this haircut that she has volume her hair is pretty fine, but now she has volume everywhere from the top to the bottom. She doesn't have the wimpy bottom anymore. She has lots of shape, lots of layers in her hair, lots of movement. And you can really see the shape taking form. So she doesn't end up with a big triangle, and she doesn't end up with a big ball on the top either. So because of this cut, we can just shape her up and give her volume anywhere. And it's very easy to work this haircut. To me, a good cut is the foundation of all hairstyles. So when you work with it, because of all the layers and the fact that we were able to like keep her volume in her hair and her length.
Yeah.
That is really a nice, sweet technique. All done with a curve shear. All done with a curve shear. So, here's our girl, Cheryl.
Yeah.